Good morning, everybody. It's 6 a.m. Pretty chipper right now. I've been awake for about 24 hours and been working on some stuff for the past 8 or so hours when I found some video on YouTube that kind of shone a light on things and what's really going on. Let me show you what I've been working on for the past 8 hours up here. Look at the tabs on top. So about 5 weeks ago, I was driving to the gym and I looked over to the side of the road, and I live in New Haven, Connecticut. And I looked over, and I saw some tents that were set up on the side of the road, kind of far away. And I was like, "What the hell's going on over here?" And it turns out that there's a homeless encampment that's right in our city of New Haven. So I literally got out of my car. I was afraid to get out because I don't know anything about homeless people, and I thought they're going to hurt me. So I almost debated not even getting in my car and just kept going, but I'm glad I did because it sent me down this rabbit hole of information that I had ideas of where it was kind of leading, but I think this video is going to help connect the dots for a lot of people. And you might have heard a few of these stories that I'm going to talk about, but nobody that I listen to or I talk to or in my social circle or my family, they even know what's going on. So I'm here today to kind of help solve the puzzle, I guess you could say, and put the pieces together for you. So let's just start real quick. And this is the video I took 5 weeks ago at Homelessness New Haven, and I interviewed this lady here. Her name's Crystal. She's homeless and she just can't find a job, and that's pretty much it. So here we go.
Okay, hi, my name is Crystal. This is my home for the last 2.5 years. I live here with like a couple other people, but this is my home. This is my tent. This is where I live. You know, come on in. Sorry, Mark, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's all right.
You know, this is where I store my clothes. I have clothes inside stuff. My clothes, I fold everything. Oh, sugar, honey, iced tea. Sorry. I have clothes in this one, but this is my bedroom. This is where I sleep at night, inside here. You know, I go in here and I close it up, and this is what heats me. A candle. For 2.5 years, I've been living here.
You could pretty much see what's going on here, and this actually is not an isolated incident. I'll show you a little bit about how bad it actually is, and nobody really knows because nobody's leaving their house. Everybody's stuck inside. Nobody's traveling, so this information is not getting out to the public. So this is the picture I posted on my Instagram story. If you saw it a couple hours ago, asking if people want to hear me talk for a little bit about what the hell is going on and why I think this could spell some disaster for not only us, but for the world. So here we go. So this video, which is something that you need to watch after you watch this video, pretty much goes into a lot of detail about what happened in the past, almost 100 years ago to the date. 1927, there was a huge stock market crash. People lost all of their money. There was the Great Depression. I'm sure you've heard about it. You probably don't remember much about it. I don't. I'm not going to sit here and try to teach you about it because I don't know much about it, but I just know the stock market crashed and the rich people got richer and the poor people lost all their money and they couldn't afford to live anymore. You know, a lot of them died. And so this video talks about why hasn't the stock market crashed yet? And if you haven't been paying attention to the stock market, like most people haven't, then you might not know that the stock market is actually doing insanely well. So this is called the S&P 500, and it's an index and it tracks about 500 of the top stocks that are in the United States. And if you look over here, this is between 2008 after the end of the Great Recession. And look, it's just been on fire. Coronavirus hits, like we lost a little bit, but look, it's already back up. And if you're looking at this chart, you're saying, oh, the economy is doing great. You know, the stock market is a great indication of how the economy is actually doing. And then you see articles like this on February 25th, 2021, where they're saying, oh, unemployment claims sink to 3-month low. So that's great, right? That we're doing, we're getting people back to jobs and everybody's working again. But then you start digging a little deeper and you start learning that the US printed more money in 1 month than in 2 centuries. This came out in July. This came out last year. And you kind of got to ask why are they printing money? That doesn't make any sense. And over the past 200 years, that's absolutely insane. And you remember back last year in December 28th, I can't remember the exact year, but Trump signed the first coronavirus relief, and he gave trillions of dollars to people. They just printed money and they said, here you go. And it doesn't matter if you have a job or not. If you make over $100,000, you can't get all the money, but if you need some help, here we go. Here's a handout. Let's get the economy back into shape. And then think about the chart that I just closed with the S&P, and where does that money go? It goes right back into the stock market. I'm sorry, as I'm editing this, I realize I need to add this right in here. A lot of the reason why the stock market is going up is because a lot of new money is hitting the market with things like the whole GameStop, the short squeeze, Robinhood, make it so easy for people to trade money that they don't even know what they're doing. It happened to me. I lost $1,000. Happened to all my friends. They're still holding GameStop at $340 a share, even though it's down to $100. You have people like Dave Portnoy, the El Presidente, that people are that they just think he's the coolest guy ever, and he's on Twitter saying how we're gonna go get Robinhood and we're gonna go get these asshole Wall Streeters that took all of our money, and everybody lost money. Everybody that didn't know what they're doing, including myself, lost a bunch of money. And then that's when I realized that I need to figure out what the hell is going on. And these people, yeah, he's a good guy that he started that small business fund, but he's the one telling you to buy. He's the one that's causing the FOMO, the fear of missing out, the hype, getting that stock all the way up to $400+ People like Zach Morris on Twitter, 500,000 followers, doing call outs that people don't know. They're posting screenshots of making millions of dollars just on whatever he's calling. And what is he calling? He's calling, look, Fubo TV. Fubo. Everyone's talking about Fubo. Everyone buy Fubo. Look, price is going down. Buy it when it dips. Buy the dip. BTFD. Buy the fucking dip. Netflix is gonna be big. Everybody's talking about Fubo. Zach Morris is calling out. Everybody get in. Quick. And this is what happens. You get the FOMO, and then you see other people posting screenshots of the millions in their trading accounts, and who knows if that's photoshopped or not, but more Fubo stuff. So you get wrapped up in Fubo, and who's to say that it's going to go up? It probably will, but if you don't know when you're going to get out, if you don't know how to set your risk management, then you're going to lose money. Which same thing happened to GameStop and AMC. And you got people like Deep Fucking Value in Wall Street Bets posting meme TikToks and getting 26,000 upvotes of how to he picks the best stock. And this is the guy that drove the entire hype behind GameStop, and he testified in front of Congress about what he knew and how Congress basically doesn't know anything about what's going on. So who knows if this guy is legit or not, but I don't know. I'll see neither here or there, but I just figured out how to throw this into the video. This is the debt. If this ugly chart here is our debt, and not all debt is bad. You can find videos that show what is good debt, what's bad debt. But you look what's coming down the pipeline, and just starting today, it's Wednesday, March 3rd. In Congress, or the House of Representatives just passed the $2 trillion second COVID relief package, and now it's going into the Senate, which is most likely going to pass. So you're just going to see another $2 trillion added to this national debt, which you're kind of questioning, like, how do you just add money to the economy? Isn't that going to stifle, or isn't it going to like make inflation start? I was just talking about is actually happening. It's been happening in Venezuela. They were one of the richest countries because they had a huge oil reserve, and the people at the top, like Maduro and the president and all his boys, they squandered it. They lost it all. They did a bunch of social relief programs and helping people, and they kept flooding the market with more money, and a lot of people that in Venezuela are experiencing hyperinflation. Some of these videos, I forget which one, probably this one, talks about how the cost of a small French fry is $130, and people are poor. And that stack of money you see in this clip right here is worth basically nothing. It's happened before. This is Germany in World War I believe, and 1914. And what happened is they have all this money here, and they had war reparations. They lost the war, so they had to pay it back. And this lady's made a dress out of her money because it's worthless. It's essentially worthless. What was once $1 is now worth less than the paper it was printed on. So that's what happens when you just flood the market with a bunch of money and people don't spend it; they just hold on to it, or and look up inflation, you'll figure it out. But nobody can really figure out why the stock market is still continuing to go up. It just defies all logic and fundamentals of the stock market that people have been trading for years. And here's another interesting chart. This is from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. This is at the national level. So every month they release a report that they give to Congress to talk about the unemployment rate. And as of January 2021, they're reporting, it fell 0.4 percentage points and down to 6.3. 6.3 is what the United States National Bureau of Labor and Statistics is claiming we're at right now. But then you kind of dig a little deeper, and this guy right here, he's looking real angry. He's saying the real unemployment rate is closer to 10%. This is the guy who's in charge of printing the money. So he's saying, no, it's not 6.3. Look, this is February 10th, 2021. So he's saying, look, it's not 6.3 like the BLS is reporting. It's actually more of like 10%. And the reason he gives is it was some error. But then if you look at this article from January 25th, 2021, this guy right here is an absolute genius, Eugene Ludwig. He used to work on the Bill Clinton administration and for the as a comptroller of currency. So he wrote this article here saying it's actually way worse than even that. The Bureau of Labor and Statistics, they don't factor in people that are only working maybe 5 hours a week. Only as long as you are actively looking for a job, then you are considered still employed, and it flaws the numbers. And he actually says that he has this website here. If you go to the true rate of unemployment, and he's saying it's closer to 25% is unemployment rate, not the 10% that the guy who's printing the money is saying, or the 6.3% that the BLS is reporting. So what I've discovered is like homelessness is not what normal everyday people think it is. Like you see homeless people standing on the corner and begging for money, and you just assume I'm not going to give them any money, that they're going to go spend it on drugs or alcohol, and then I'm just going to see them again on my way to work. So why would I give them money if they're just going to go waste it? Well, you don't really realize that pretty much like 2/3 of the homeless people you don't even see, because like let's say like 1/3 of the people that are homeless, they're living in their cars or their motorhomes. If you watch the new YouTube documentary A Day in the Life, which covered like one day in July of last year, there's a section where this guy talks about being homeless and living in his car and how he has to move every morning. It's horrifying. But so that's 1/3 of the people that are staying in their cars, and then the other third are just people that are crashing on their friends' couches, they're crashing on their parents' couches. So you don't really see those people that are panhandling because they're not really homeless because they live in their house, or they live in the car, or they live in somebody else's house. But after a while, you kind of, if you don't have a job, the people that you're staying with are going to get pissed and they're going to kick you out. But anyway, let's keep moving on because we got a lot to go. So homelessness, what's the state of homelessness right now? So this is the closest number chart thing that I could find to kind of explain what's going on with homelessness. So as of 2019, New York City is the number one. This is pre-COVID, by the way. New York City is the number one leader of homeless people, and LA is the second one. So 56,000 and 70,000. But if you've never gone on YouTube or you've tried to look for any alternative news source, then you have no idea what the hell is actually going on in New York City or LA. Well, let me show you. This guy here, this lovely gentleman with awesome hair, he travels all around California and he just records what's going on. And in Beverly Hills, as of 18 hours ago, so this is March 3rd at 6 a.m. So just yesterday, he posted this video from Beverly Hills showing how bad the homelessness crisis is in California in Beverly Hills, but not just Beverly Hills. Update homeless encampment in Venice Beach. It's the new Skid Row. If you don't know what Skid Row is, it's a 50-block radius in the downtown of LA where they have pretty much stopped enforcing all laws because the homeless tent population is just out of control. So you have extortion, you have open drug use, prostitution. So like, let's say if you want to park your tent on one block, you got to pay protection money, pretty much like a mob or mafia used to run. It's awful. So going down the line, New York City. So if you've ever been to New York City recently, you don't really. If you go back to the chart and you saw that 70,000 people were homeless in New York City, well, you go to New York City now and you don't see that. You don't see tents everywhere. So it's kind of like it's like, where, if they're really that bad, then I would have seen it. Well, no, you wouldn't have, because New York City is one of the only cities in the country that has something called a right to shelter law. And they actually spend over $300 million. Where is it? $364 million on contracts for emergency homeless housing, according to publicly available data. So what they're doing is they're basically spending $300 million a year sheltering homeless people into single room deluxe hotels. And the city is going to go bankrupt if they keep doing this. And actually, California is now considering the right to house people. And you're like, well, that's kind of weird. If homelessness gets so out of control, then maybe other states are going to start doing that too. And then all these homeless people are just going to be living in hotels for the rest of their life. Maybe. But we don't know, because we don't actually know how many homeless people there actually are. January 18th, 2021. For many areas, count of homeless population is canceled or delayed. Since the corona, people don't want to go out and take the census. So we really don't know the true extent to how bad the situation really is. So then I did some more digging and I found this article. LA's hotel boom continues with proposed 89 key development in North Hollywood. And that doesn't really make sense, right? It's like, well, the travel industry's down, but at the same time, the hotels are going up. And you kind of question your head, you scratch your head, you think, why would people be building more hotels? Well, they're also doing it in New York City. And if the law in New York City is to put homeless people into hotels, then yeah, why wouldn't these people that own these hotels build these huge things, and so that the city has to put them in there because it is the law? So if I'm a person that builds hotels, yeah, of course I'm going to put one up. It's just, I want to make money and the city's going to give it to me. So why the hell wouldn't I do it? Now, here's another interesting thing that I found. Self-storage industry statistics. This is another industry that is unexplained. They can't explain why the hotels are booming right now, and they can't explain why self-storage units are through the roof. And I'm sure you've noticed, if you've just driven around recently, that you see like public storage or cube everywhere. You know, look at this chart right down here. Self-storage facilities versus fast food restaurants. There are more self-storage facilities in our country than Starbucks, McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Pizza Hut, and Wendy's stores combined. That is insane. And then you got to ask the question, why is it just rich people that have too much stuff? Well, no, I mean, if they've had too much stuff and they're rich, they're just going to buy a bigger house to put their shit in. And then you say, well, it's just the poor people that are putting stuff in there. Well, no, because they're putting these in also rich neighborhoods. So if Starbucks is on every block, that means a storage facility is on every block. And then that begs the question of, why would hotels and self-storage be going up? Well, we'll get back to that in a second. This here is from the Housing of Urban Development. January 21st, 2021. Millions of Americans are at risk of eviction or foreclosure because of COVID-19 pandemic and corresponding economic crisis. On January 21st, 2021, even before this of last year, I don't have the exact date, but you can find it in the press releases. There was a moratorium put in place by President Trump. And what the moratorium is, it's just another word for a ban, and a ban on evictions and foreclosures. So if you were back paid on your rent and you owed a couple $1,000, your landlord would not be legally allowed to evict you. It was you're protected by the HUD, and they're giving money to landlords and federally backed single mortgages through March 31st, which is kind of coming up pretty soon, right? So what's going to happen on March 31st, 2021, when either we don't have any money left to keep giving these people so they don't get evicted, or they just stop paying for this altogether? Well, I just read it to you. Millions of Americans are at risk of eviction or foreclosure. So you're going to have millions of people that are now going to be homeless. And when you become homeless, where do you put all your stuff in your house? Public storage, maybe? So in 2020, Trump came up with the numbers, and Ben Carson, who's the guy in charge of the HUD, and they asked Congress for $8.5 billion less than 2020. So even though we have $2 trillion in the pipeline, and people are millions of people are going to lose their homes, they're asking for less money. What the hell are they going to do when they can't afford the programs that they have, like they're protecting people from getting evicted? I don't know. It's a good question to ask. What do you do after eviction? This is for people that are landowners, and it talks about how to get rid of the tenant's stuff that they left over. Well, it says put the items in storage, and then you've seen this show before, right? Storage Wars. If you can't afford your storage place, then these people are going to come and take it. So you lost all your stuff. Tough shit. All right, back to LA real quick. A lot of people like to solve. They think that the answer to solve the homelessness crisis is just money. Throw money at it and it'll go away. Well, they did. They gave California, who has one of the worst homelessness crisis in the entire country, they gave them $1.2 billion 3 years ago. And how many units have they built? 0. And why would they do that? Why wouldn't they want to solve the homelessness crisis? Well, I told you before that they're looking to build more hotels, and they're looking to put laws in place that are, they're looking to put laws in place that are going to require them to put them up in hotels. So maybe they want more hotels so they could put homeless people in them. I don't know. Just kind of throwing that out there. And where did they get the $1.2 billion from? Here's this guy, Warren Buffett, the richest guy, one of the richest guys, not anymore. Jeff Bezos took that spot. But these are the people that own all the banks, right? They're the richest people, some of the richest people in the world. They're worth billions of dollars. Every day that the loan goes unpaid, and they're making interest. So the longer the loan just sits out there, not being used, not being paid, they get a percentage back. So why would you want to solve homelessness if that means you don't get more money, right? Who's number one? I don't even know. Let's scroll down together. Buffett. Okay, I don't know who this person is. But anyway, if you're Jim Simmons with this microphone up your nose, then you have $22 billion. Of course you don't want to make more money. Why not? Shit, I would. All right. Let's take a quick break, and I want to show you guys what I've been working on to help figure what the hell is going on. So I went ahead and started a Discord, and if you've never heard of Discord before, essentially all it is the modern day chat room. I initially wanted to have people kind of join in and talk about new ways that they can make money using the stock market, futures, Forex, cryptocurrency, bots, video game skins, all different types of ways, alternative ways to make money that they might not have thought of. Because a lot of people, they just assume that they have to put in X amount of hours a week in order to get a paycheck, when in reality, the world is a lot different nowadays, especially with YouTube. People on Twitch TV making millions of dollars a month just by playing a video game. There's so many new revenue streams that are available now that we weren't taught growing up, and if you weren't looking for them, then you won't even know they exist. And I encourage everybody to join the Discord. If this stuff scares you, you could just kind of hide it away there, so you can, until you're ready to jump in there. But up here is where you want to be. Get the conversation going. I'm going to post a link to all of the bookmarks I have here into this World War III chat, and y'all can see for yourself what the hell is going on and make your own conclusions and prove me wrong, hopefully. All right, the link is in my description and in my Instagram profile. And let's get back to the video and watch a little clip and see what else is going on in the world.
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus. There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China.
Well, there it is, folks. It came from China, and that's what the story has been. You know, some guy ate a bat, or it escaped from a lab, or whatever you believe in. It came from China, and okay, no big deal. Like I'm half Chinese, and I've lived with that, and it's okay. And like nobody, I haven't seen anybody hurt me or say anything bad about me and blame me for the coronavirus. Like that just sounds ridiculous. But then a couple of days ago, my friend posted some story on Instagram, and the violence against Asian people are up 717% in Vancouver. And not just Vancouver, it's in LA. It's mirroring the national trend. It's happening everywhere. Look at this. Here's how brands are responding to hate crimes. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, says the rising violence against, what the hell? He said, the rising violence against the Asian community is a painful and urgent reminder that we must unite against racism on all fronts. There's no place for hate in our society. The team and Apple stand together, and we will be donating to groups to provide support affected. I hate Apple, and Tim Cook is the only person that's actually calling this out and saying what's actually going on. February 14th. Yeah, look at this. COVID hate crimes against Asian Americans on the rise. FBI warned at the start of COVID outbreak in the U.S. that it expected a surge in hate crimes against those of Asian descent. Federal hate crime data for 2020 has not yet been released, though hate crimes in 2020 are the highest level in a decade. Holy shit. Here, look at this. An 84-year-old Thai immigrant in San Francisco died last month after being violently shoved to the ground during his morning walk. A 91-year-old senior was shoved to the pavement from behind. An 89-year-old Chinese woman was slapped and set on fire by two people in Brooklyn, New York. A stranger on the subway in New York slashed a 61-year-old Filipino-American passenger's face with a box cutter. This is happening today. This is a day ago. A day ago, this shit's happening. But I mean, if you're not looking at BBC News or any other alternative media that you're used to, like.
Okay, fine, yeah.
Ooh, what's this?
I have no titties, but my ass, on the other hand, flat as hell.
Yeah, that's the stuff that I want to see. That's what everybody else is watching. Let's keep watching more of that. But no, let's change the channel again. Let's see what else is going. Oh shit! Y'all remember this? This Capitol riot? What the hell is that about?
Radio communications from the Metropolitan Police Department highlight how during and following President Trump's speech, Trump supporters descended on the Capitol and became increasingly violent.
What the hell is she talking about?
I will lay out just some of the evidence proving that we won this election, and we won it by a landslide. This was not a close election. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Yeah, spoiler alert, he did not walk down to the Capitol with them. This is what happened.
There's gotta be something in here we can fucking use against these scumbags.
That's true. That's what we fucking need to have 30,000 guns up here. That's true. That's what we need. Let's go! Let's go! Take it! Take it out! Use the shield! Use the shield! Use the shield! We need fresh patriots abroad!
And you just gotta say, who the hell are these people? Well, these are Americans. These are your neighbors. These are your coworkers. They took vacation off from work to go down to the Capitol to go and storm it. But why? Why would they do that? Well, if you're not paying attention, then you won't know. She blamed the California wildfires on secret Jewish space lasers. Her and a bunch of thousands of other people that got her elected to Congress, where she currently is, are part of a QAnon conspiracy theory, which holds that Donald Trump is secretly fighting a worldwide child sex slavery ring that was supposed to culminate in the mass arrest of his political opposition. They think this is true. What else do they believe? Muslims don't belong in government. 9/11 was an inside job. Shootings at Parkland, Sandy Hook, and Vegas were staged. Zionist supremacists are secretly masterminding Muslim immigration to Europe in a scheme to outbreed white people. And leading Democratic officials should be executed. And these leading Democratic officials that they're talking about are people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the other minority women that are in Congress and are Democrats that they want to execute, they want to kill. And the people that went to go to the Capitol to storm it, they were going to save this mysterious being named Q that has been doing some secret scientific, I don't know. He's been uncovering this whole conspiracy that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton are all child sex pedophiles, and he has all the information. They need to get into the Capitol so they can go get it out. That's what their mission was, and their fearless leader Trump told them to do it. March 2nd, 2021, less than 12 hours ago, this news article came out. Antifa didn't storm the Capitol. Just ask the rioters. Well, who the hell are Antifa? I don't know. Let's see. The Capitol, earlier today, the Capitol was under siege by people who can only be described as antithetical, so Antifa that's the word, to the MAGA movement, the Make America Great Again movement, the people against Donald Trump, people like that voted for Joe Biden. So if you voted for Joe Biden, you are the enemy, essentially. Laura Ingraham told her viewers on Fox News that night. They were likely not all Trump supporters, but there are some reports that Antifa sympathizers may have been sprinkled throughout the crowd. So this is mainstream media that my dad watches, and this is the shit that they're telling their viewers. Look right here. In these 24 hours, the lie that the rioters were actually Antifa was mentioned more than 400,000 times online. It peaked in the anonymous image board site 4chan around 1 p.m. on January 6th. Let's see what else here. There is no evidence for these claims then, and there still isn't any now. Shortly after the riot, the FBI refuted the conspiracy theory, saying there is no indication that Antifa, a decentralized collection of far-left groups and individuals, was involved. And then this article goes on to say 58% of Trump voters said they viewed the events of January 6th as mostly Antifa-inspired attack that only involved a few Trump supporters. So even though you just saw a video where it was all Trump supporters, there's people that are on Fox News saying, no, it was Antifa. It was the guys on the other side. But then you have QAnon supporters and people that were actually there going to Twitter and bragging that, no, we were there. We were the ones that were trying to take the Capitol back. Why is Fox News telling anybody otherwise? Well, it's called gaslighting, or it's called fake news, or disinformation campaign, which is a Putin term. But we'll get to him somewhere around here. Yeah, so that's that. And here's the next fun piece of information. February 25th, 2021. U.S. airstrikes in Syria target Iran-backed militias that rocketed American troops in Iraq. The 25th was about a week ago, less than a week ago. So Joe Biden, good old Joe, that everybody loves, he just sent airstrikes to Syria. And people are questioning why. And not just people, but people are in charge. This is some guy. Who is this? Senator Tim Kaine. I don't know who you are. But this is an important thing right here. It says, Biden drew friendly fire after ordering airstrikes on Iran-backed militia groups in Syria without first seeking a congressional approval, and for refusing to impose penalties on Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, whom Biden's administration publicly blamed for the brutal 2018 murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. If you don't know anything about that, let's go learn real quick. Oh, that's a nice headline. Dismembered and dissolved. So basically what happened is there was this Saudi Arabian dissenter. He was a journalist, and he was lured into a restaurant, I think, or some building. And then about a dozen men came in after him. They killed him. They dismembered his body, and they put his body parts in separate briefcases or suitcases. and they can't find his body. And when we learned that it was Saudi Arabia that did this, Biden said, "Nah, that's okay. You get a pass. We're not going to do anything." That's what Khashoggi's about. And look at this. You know this guy, right? Probably not. He's our senator from Connecticut. Biden administration still hasn't briefed top senators on Syria strike. March 2nd, 2021. This was 12 hours ago. That's great. Democrats are ramping up pressure on Biden after he ordered airstrikes on Syria without consulting Congress, saying they are not satisfied with the White House's rationale for the strikes and its lack of engagement with lawmakers. So Biden's sending attacks to countries without congressional approval, without telling people on his own side, like Democrats, what the hell is he even doing? It doesn't make any sense. All right, let's see what else Biden's up to. Good old Joe. March 2nd, again, 4:24 p.m., 12 hours ago. Poisoning nearly killed Alexei Navalny. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Now Biden is sanctioning Putin allies in Russia, and sanctioning is a big word for punishing Putin and allies in Russia. So Biden is now putting the fist down. He's saying, you try to kill this guy that I've never heard of before, and now we're going to punish you. Well, let's go learn who this guy is. Let's see what he did that pissed off Putin. He found out what Putin was up to. He found out where Putin's getting all his money from. And what Putin's doing is he's building this whole city in this giant mountain for himself and his boys to go and retire at. He took all the money from Russia, and this is where it is. 2-hour documentary this guy released for free. This guy is a freaking hero.
Documents is 17,691 square meters, and there's not even much to compare it with. The most luxurious houses on Rublovka are several times smaller. This is the new Versailles, or the new Winter Palace, a truly royal palace. For now, we only admire it from the outside. Let's get close enough to see everything in detail. Huh, what's going on here? Some kind of blue tarp where the windows are cocked, the pool is closed, building materials are lying on the ground, workers, barely noticeable against the background of the palace, scurry about. What is happening? Why is there a construction site if 6-year-old satellite images show that the palace is already completed? The builders explained it to us. Everything was really ready a long time ago, but then a disaster struck. Its name is mold and sloppiness. The palace was designed with mistakes. Ventilation did not work, the ceiling leaked, high humidity. In general, they decided to redo everything, absolutely everything. They stripped the walls, stripped off the marble, took out everything of value, literally threw billions into the trash and started it all over.
Shit, man, you make a mistake, throw it out. Why not? Let's see what else you got going on.
These women. Next is another important object, a church. It's not the temple of the Ministry of Defense, of course, and in general it does not look very orthodox. A bunch of some kind of construction trailers, obviously workers live there. We see a giant 80-meter bridge. In any Russian region, its opening would be a whole event. But here it is simply needed to get to the tea house. On the right, we see 2 helipads. Strange, there were 3 of them before. One was removed and a mound was made in its place. It's a very strange mound, though. It has several entrances. For a long time, we tried to understand what was inside, and at some point, we saw the insides of this mountain on satellite images. A rectangle with rounded corners measuring 56 by 26 meters. It's a hockey rink. Indeed, who needs a place in which you cannot play hockey?
Well, when you got FU money, then you build a damn hockey rink wherever I want. Don't tell me what to do. Anyway, the coolest part of this video is the workers that are here, they wanted to get the information out. So what they did is they stole the blueprints and they gave them to Navalny. And not only did they give it to him, where are they? Hold on. Right here. These are all the blueprints.
Plan, it says, Ceterio Atina.
So some hero took the plans and they ended up, because you can't go there. Obviously, you can't visit the place, but you can get an idea of what it might look like. So right now he's talking about all the expensive stuff that they're buying, and he's comparing it to prices online that you can find, and how much money is actually being spent there. But anyway, they took the blueprints that were stolen from the mansion here, and they this is how you know you live in the future. They created a 3D rendering of the entire palace that you can walk through and see just how ridiculous it is. And here we go. This is, look how ridiculous. This looks like real life. And it's actually just 3D rendering. Turn the music on.
The courtyard with a fountain in the center is surrounded by galleries, as if we are not near Glenznick, but in Bologna or Florence. From the courtyard, we go into the Athenaeum. That's the name of this room. Here, we will see how similar our reconstruction is to the original. Photos of this room are available on the internet, so we can compare. Look, the columns, stucco moldings, chandeliers, and frescoes completely match, 100%. And here are the golden eagles. There are never too many of them. Vladimir Putin...
You can go watch all the rest of the video for yourself, but I just wanted to show you some of the highlights of what's going on in Russia. You know, just in case you're not watching that part on TikTok yet. All right, let's backtrack for 1 second. Let's go back to how this whole thing started and where it pretty much connected all the dots for me. So this is the video again, the first video that I showed you about why the stock market hasn't crashed yet. All right, let's listen for a minute.
3. The rise of China to challenge the existing power of the US. The last 16 times a rising power confronted a ruling power, war broke out, also known as Thucydides Trap, just like the world after the 30s.
The last time those things happened were in the 1930s. And if you look at history going back over periods of time before that, hundreds of years, I made a point of studying the last 500 years, you could see these patterns in history. Those are the circumstances that we're facing. And so the issue really, I think, is can we face those things in a skillful way and a bipartisan way so that we don't do ourselves even more harm than the circumstances have brought us as a challenge.
So that's Ray Dalio. He's actually from Connecticut, and he's actually a really good guy. He's a billionaire, but he's doing really good things to get this information out there. He's putting it on his Twitter. He's making these awesome charts, and he's pretty much telling us everything we need to know about what to look out for. And what should we look out for? Well, if you missed it, in the first part of the clip I showed, he talks about the Thucydides Trap. When one great power threatens to displace another, war is almost always the result, but it doesn't have to be. And look at this right here. I'm going to repeat it again, but he said it in case you missed it. The past 500 years have seen 16 cases in which a rising power threatened to displace a ruling one. 12 of those ended in war. And what do you have in that chart? Let's go back to the chart. You have China coming right up to say hello. And US, who we think that we're the best country in the world, we've been on the decline ever since the 50s. We are not what we thought we were. Jocko Willing talks about it in his book and his podcast, that the first time we went to Iraq, for example, we just dominated. We just rolled over. We steamed through them. The second time we went back, it was a massacre. We were not prepared, and we got our asses handed to us in the second Iraq war. And even going to Iraq in the first place was a bad idea. If you look at this video here, how the Iraq war, I can't type, Iraq war was. No, I'm sorry, that's not what it's called, but you'll see in a second. How the U.S. stole Iraq. This video right here breaks down how these people pretty much convinced George W. Bush to get a win because we couldn't go fight people in caves in Afghanistan, and Iraq is not even close to Afghanistan. Well, it's close, but it's not in Afghanistan, so there was no reason for us to go to Iraq in the first place. Pretty interesting stuff. Check it out. So let's look at history real quick. Because there's this quote here: history does not repeat itself, but it does rhyme. Mark Twain said it. And then Voltaire pretty much said the exact same thing as well, that history doesn't repeat itself, man always does. So let's look at the past world wars. What was a precipitating event, if you forget? So World War I began in 1914 after the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand of Austria. His murder catapulted into a war across Europe that lasted until 1918. All right, that was World War I. What was World War II? Well, it was the invasion of Poland by Nazi Germany. And what was the result? I'm not going to go through like a whole history of Germany, but look what happened. internment of Japanese Americans on U.S. soil. We were at war with Japan, so we set up these internment camps and we put Japanese Americans into these camps. And they've been doing that down in Mexico too. They had kids that were in cages that were kind of reported on, and some people said stuff, but most of us didn't really give a shit. Let's take a breather real quick. Let's watch some Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
You want to talk about stress? You want to talk about stress?
This is how I feel right now.
I've stumbled onto a major company conspiracy, Mac. How about that for stress? What the hell are you talking about? This company is being bled like a stuck pig, Mac, and I got a paper trail to prove it. Check this out. Take a look at this.
Jesus Christ,
That right there is the mail. Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail, please, Mac? I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay? Pepe Sylvia. This name keeps coming up over and over again. Every day, Pepe's mail's getting sent back to me. Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia. I look in the mail. Well, this whole box is Pepe Sylvia. So I say to myself, I gotta find this guy. I gotta go up to his office. I gotta put his mail in the guy's goddamn hands. Otherwise, he's never gonna get it. He's gonna keep coming back down here. So I go up to Pepe's office, and what do I find out, Mac? What do I find out? There is no Pepe Sylvia. The man does not exist, okay? So I decided, oh, shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper. There's no Pepe Sylvia, you gotta be kidding me. I got boxes full of Pepe. All right, so I start marching my way down to Carol and HR, and I knock on her door and I say, Carol, I gotta talk to you about Pepe. And when I open the door, what do I find? There's not a single goddamn desk in that office. There is no Carol in HR. Mac, half the employees in this building have been made up. This office is a goddamn ghost town.
So that's pretty much how I've been feeling the past 5 weeks, and just trying to make sense of all of the information that I have. And now it's all out there, and it's up to you to either prove me right or prove me wrong. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope somebody can come along and be the voice of reason.
Okay, Charlie, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Not only do all of these people exist, but they have been asking for their mail on a daily basis. It's all they're talking about up there, Jesus.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens. Let's just recap. All right, we're near the end. Here's a summary of the past 5 weeks of my life of sleeplessness while working full-time in an emergency room during a pandemic. Number 1, unprecedented, unexplainable stock market. Number 2, employment rate is untrustworthy and inaccurate. Number 3, printing more money in the past 1 month than over the past 200 years. Number 4, debt out of control. Number 5, homelessness out of control and taxpayers are paying for it. Number 6, hotel boom and storage boom. Number 7, the HUD moratorium and the bleeding budget. Number 8, where do newly homeless people put their stuff? Self-storage. Number 9, homelessness is not a money issue. Number 10, bankers who are fronting the cash for the unpaid loans are making billions every day the loan goes unpaid. Number 11, Trump placing full blame of coronavirus on China and denying racist undertones. Number 12, increasing rise in hate crimes against Asian Americans, aka me. Number 13, Trump inciting a riot against the Capitol. Number 14, dangerous, unfactual ideologies from QAnon and actual members of Congress. Number 15, mainstream media, aka Fox News, spinning the story of the Capitol riots that Antifa, the people against Donald Trump, even though QAnoners are bragging on Twitter that it was them and they're proud of it. Number 16, today, Wednesday, 3/3/21, Senate is passing the $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. And also remember the $2.2 trillion relief fund Trump passed on March 27th of last year. Don't make me pull up the disgusting debt calculator thing again. That thing was awful to look at. Number 17, Biden refusing to condemn or punish Saudi Arabia for the brutal killing of Jamal Khashoggi, a journalist who was brutally murdered, his body carved up into several pieces and carried out in the suitcases. Biden says, you're good. Biden then launched an attack a week ago against Syria and won't tell members of Congress his justification, even members of his own party. Then Biden is punishing Russia yesterday for poisoning of some guy who exposed all the shady stuff Putin's up to. And Putin's been leading a disinformation campaign for years against the United States. The source that I have is actually from H.R. McMaster's 2021 book called 2021. I don't remember what year. It was this year or last year, called Battlegrounds. And in it, he talks about Russia and fake news and disinformation campaigns. And a huge chapter of it is in China, but I haven't read it yet because it's long and I've been busy with this stuff. So I'm got to go back and read the China part now, I guess. The similarities between World War I and World War II and the precipitating events, just like today. You know, you get the murder of all of these people that are important, or the poisoning of the people that are trying to do the right thing. old people saying things that are still true today, like Mark Twain over here and Voltaire. And then this last one here is something I want to quickly touch on is the drug war as a means of population control and preventing wild ideas like during the Vietnam protests. And that's kind of like a departure from the rest of this. But truthfully, I did the majority of this research while I was high on marijuana. And I've always been against marijuana my entire life. Like I was always the guy that would, or always the friend that would take your joint when we were like 15 or 16 and throw it in the trash. Like I was so against marijuana until about last year when my friends came over and they got me into it, and it literally just opened my mind up to all these different possibilities and making new connections and seeing things that I had never seen before. Not like hallucinating, but just getting out of my own ego and being able to see things objectively rather than subjectively. So I owe a lot of credit to marijuana, and shout out to Blue Point Wellness Connecticut, Brantford. Please sponsor me, and and AGL in West Haven, Advanced Growing Labs. Beautiful product. Thank you very much. Vietnam protest. Oh, so I didn't know. I was trying to find information about when drugs became illegal because I see it as a means of population control, right? Who's usually gets arrested for minor drug possession? Usually blacks, Hispanics, or minorities in general. So mushrooms and marijuana both became illegal around 1970, 1971. And what the hell was going on in the world or the United States around that time? Vietnam. We were so against, we shouldn't have even been in Vietnam. And people were demonstrating for almost 10 years. And right around the end of that is when they passed the law banning the substances that were getting people high and getting them these crazy ideas that the government was wrong, and they had to put a stop to that. So for 50 years, Schedule 1 narcotics like heroin, marijuana, psychedelic mushrooms, DMT, ibogaine, the stuff that's actually working for treatment for PTSD, depression, that people are going to experimental drug treatment facilities in other countries like Mexico just to get relief, just to not be addicted to alcohol or drugs or things that the FDA won't take off the list, even though they're helping people. And I'm not saying just completely open the floodgates, but maybe we can ease into it. If it works so well for me to kind of connect all the dots and see these things, then obviously there needs to be more research done. And it's hard to do that when it's illegal. And some states like Oregon that are more progressive are now passing laws that are looking into psychedelics and hallucinogens to cure people. And the last thing I want to say is the irony of it being my birthday today, well, yesterday when I started this whole thing, and also having it be the same day where I tell all of you the unfortunate reality that you've all been sheltered from. And it's not really your fault, it's just the algorithm, the TikTok algorithm or the Instagram algorithm. They know what you want to see, and they know what keeps you on the screen. And the longer you watch, the more stuff they sell or the more money they make. So you're just a victim of that. And the question is, what can you do about it now? Well, I already told you earlier, you can come join my Discord, come talk to me, come talk to people. I got 7 friends in here, and we're just talking about stock market stuff right now. And we don't want to have to worry about money anymore either. So we're trying to figure out ways that we can invest in new opportunities to pretty much take back the money that was taken from us, and have a fighting chance. Because if the world does go to war, and the stock market crashes, and all of our 401ks and pensions and our livelihood for the rest of our lives are gone, then it's going to be a really sad time for everyone. So come on in here, and I'll post the links to all the video, the articles and videos that I've shared. And I started doing it here, but it's 7:00 in the morning right now, and I haven't slept in 5 weeks. So thank you all for listening, and I hope to catch up with you in the Discord, the chat rooms, and hang in there. We'll be okay. Thanks for listening.